Hey everybody. Now typically I don't like fighting. I'm not into it anymore. I don't practice it. Um, with that said, Zabit Magomedsharipov. Well, in Russian it'd be Zabit Magomedsharipov. You got to check out Zabit. So with like Zabit Magomedsharipov or um, Khabib Nurmagomedov, I'm gonna teach you a little secret about the Dagestansky names. So, Magomed or Magomed is Mohammed. And since the Dagestanskis are Islamic, they put Mohammed, either add it to their names or rebuild their existing Slavic names around it. So, okay, now the Caucasus Mountains is where the Caucasian people originate. So the way the story is told is that the original Caucasians spilled down from the mountains down through two places. One to the Persians, the Pars, and became the Persian Empire, and then the other way down to Turkey through Armenia and became the Turco-Greco, Roman Greco, on and on and on. Became that series of empires. Okay? So the Slavs were kind of a bit later, but that's the current incarnation of the Caucasian persons up there, are the marriage between the Armenians, the Persians, and then the Slavs. And Chechnya and Dagestan kind of are that amalgamation. And it's kind of ironic because, they're probably the progenitors, but it's kind of funny how the cycle of people and language and anyway. So with Khabib or Khabib, the real name is Habib. It means friend or friendly in Arabic. There's no H sound in Russian, so they throw as a kha. There's also a very pronounced kha in Armenian languages and Persian languages and the Avar language that the Dagestanskis originally speak, but they use Russian to communicate with the greater world. So they're just as fluent in Russian as they are in Avar, and probably a lot of them know, Azeri or Azerbaijani or Turkish or Farsi. It's a really mountains kind of communicate a lot. So you're gonna have a lot of languages, major languages of communication, because Avar is probably a very the people coming up aren't gonna know Avar, you know what I mean? But they probably will know Farsi, which is Persian, and the languages of anyway. So Habib turns into Khabib, and then Nur means light, enlightenment, or the light of. Nur Magomed, right? The light of Muhammad, off. Nur Magomedov, when you do it phonetically to make it fit a Russian speech pattern. So Khabib Nur Magomedov is Khabib Nurmagomedov in English. And then Zabit would be Zabit, and then Magomedsharipov, or Magomedsharipov with the inflection. Anyway, you got to check out Zabit. His footwork is next level. It's next level. And I don't know what they're teaching at that Shaolin Dagestansky fighting school, but my training when I was young was by traveling masters. And what they would do is they would go and learn from ancient school masters, right? So the very first thing they teach you is how to conquer yourself. Then they teach you the spirituality of a fighter. And with that comes a lot of mastery of psychic powers and intuitions that in modern times we dismiss, but they're true. You know, telepathy is true. You can kind of read people's minds even if you can't hear the words. You can feel them, and then you can get body language tells another part of the story than language tells the other part of the story. So it's communicating on a lot of different levels, and when you fight, this is paramount. This is so important, it's not even funny. So if you can kind of master these things, you can use your intention or your focus to force the fighter before his precognition. You can force him to accept defeat. You can break his confidence. You can, and this is important in fighting. So what I've noticed about the Dagestanis, especially the Dagestan fighters, is that they disrupt the other fighter's confidence. They disrupt the other fighter's breathing rhythms, cycles. You can tell that they freeze them. You can see when a fighter, especially in some of the Russian fights that I've seen at Zabit, a fighter will pick him up, have the advantage, and then just back off out of nowhere. Just let off. Why? Because Zabit got in his head. Zabit got in his head and did some next level shit. And Zabit's rhythms are next level. He does a spinning back fist where the spinning rotation is one speed and it's hypnotic. And then that back fist comes at an unworldly fucking acceleration. His spinning back heel kick. And that's something whenever you look at the Dagestansky Shaolin school, the 5 corner school or whatever it's called, you see a lot of their fighters do this. And not only is it a rotation that is hard to strike, but they rotate, and one, it's hypnotic because your eyes catch it, you're looking at it. And the second thing is it comes with a lot of rotational motion and just the pure physics of it. Boom. It's a big, heavy, it's a next level strike. Don't try this shit. If you get yourself in a street fight, don't try to spin and hit somebody. Fuck that, dude. Do your normal covers and try to just get one good and run. Because let me tell you something. Here's something a lot of people don't know about fucking the hand-to-hand that gets taught to spies and special operators. You know what the number one thing that you're taught is? How to tactically retreat. This whole bullshit, life's not a fucking movie. You think that you're gonna fucking get in these fights, dude, and throw all these motherfucking arm bars, you know, and hiya, 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 The vast majority of fights, dude, is try to put them in a position where you can go. Whether that's push them in a dumpster or whatever. You know, and if you meet an operator who has got training that's so upper level that he's gonna show you how to tie people into a pretzel and, you know, do some fucking burn notice shit like he's Michael Weston, awesome. I'm glad that guy fucking knows that, okay? You know, I'm sure there's people there. I haven't been to every fucking special operators course. I haven't met every special operator from every organization, public or private. So I don't know. Maybe they teach that to them. But what I have seen in the conversations that I've had, the number one thing about fucking random ass fights is do some damage, do it quick, and then get. Right? So anyway, back on the Dagestanskis. The kicking is next level. Where they're driving force from. You know what, when you see it, whenever you've been taught martial, or even you can even have conversations with spiritual martial artists. You know, if you go to your normal Brazilian jiu-jitsu class, maybe you catch some of this, maybe you don't. But if you talk to a martial artist who has an intense spiritual practice, you'll hear things like pull energy up from the earth and then strike. Strike with your force, your life force. You know, don't go to a McDojo and then they're gonna tell you to harness your chi and shit, and that's kind of a scam thing to do, but you really do harness your chi and fight. A lot of the that you see from Shaolin, that's kind of what they're doing. They're getting their body rhythms. I ain't an expert on this shit. I'm just telling you that it's real. And a lot of people, if they say that they know it and they say that it's real, they don't know it. Just the weird shit, man. I mean to get on this kind of whack out conversation, but I would definitely check out Zabit. He will Zabit your ass all up and down to JoJo. And his little brother, and any Dagestansky fighter you can see tape on. If you're into MMA or mixed martial arts, those guys are fucking fantastic. I would recommend that shit greatly to watch. And if you're currently a fighter, I would recommend get some mantras. Get some mantras. Even if it's just the placebo of you chant this shit and you feel like it makes you invincible, that will help. That will help. Projecting that intention of staying healthy, focusing, manifesting, that shit will take a knowledgeable fighter to another gear, to another level. But if you're just doing Tai Chi and saying mantras and thinking you're going to go whip someone's ass, you're going to get hurt. You need advanced training to fight an advanced fighter. Period. I don't give a fuck if you can set fire in your hand by manipulating your body energy. Cool trick. Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face. Ain't a lot of in creating fire when you're getting beaten on. When you're getting beat on, man, not a whole lot of time to recenter yourself and find your chi. You have to respond to the beatdown. So if you're someone who, throws some punches at a punching bag for some exercise and have a little bit of moderate or intermediate skill, saying some mantras will help you. Okay? But if you think that you found some sacred mantra, for Shiva or something, and then you're going to take the Scientologist approach and be like, consciousness is everywhere. I'm going to know this because I knew it in the past life. You're going to get beat on. You're going to get beat down. Don't do it that way. You have to respond to a physical fight with the experience of years of physical training. Okay? And where I would start is watching some tape on Zabit and watching some tape on Khabib, because it's a great skill to have to learn how to shoot and take someone down, cut the distance. It's a great skill to have. Even if you just know how to throw some strikes on the ground, those are great skills to have, because it'll get you out of, maybe the 1 or 2 times you get into a street fight in your life. And if you're getting into a lot of street fights, you need to change how you're fucking living. I'm 39 years old and haven't drank in God knows how long. Then funny correlation. Since I stopped motherfucking drinking, I stopped getting into random ass street fights. The vast majority of the street fights I've ever gotten into was like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 punches total by both people, a little bit of wrestling around, then we got up, got broken up by other people, and then we go. Okay? So the greatest thing that I ever learned how to do was shoot and duck. You know, I got broke nose, man. This thing is sideways. You know why? Because I was in a nightclub in Virginia when I was in the Marines, and I was trying to fuck this girl, and I was taking her home, and apparently that was someone's girlfriend. I didn't know. She didn't tell me. Frankly, I wasn't fucking asking. And all of a sudden, someone goes, "Hey, you." I turn, boom. I got hit with a motherfucking right hand that felt like an asteroid. I took 2, 3 steps back, and all my friends grabbed me, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here. The cops are going to come." That's a street fight. I got hit once. I had to fucking, I live with the results. Well, one time in Korea, I was in a place where I shouldn't have been because I speak a little Russian. It's not great Russian, but it's enough to get me into the Russian bars. And so there I was drinking. And I was trying to fuck this girl. And I don't know, man. After a bunch of soju and vodka, I don't really remember how the fight started. Koreans know martial arts. So luckily, this guy was short and he couldn't quite, because he was drunk too, couldn't quite get me in the head, so he got me in the shoulder. I went bloop, bloop, and I left. Why? Why did I run like a bitch? Because it's a bar and I don't know any Koreans. So the odds are that the Koreans are going to know more people around than me. And I ran my fucking happy ass to base. I got there and I was fucking breathing easy. Like, whoo! I hope nobody saw me. I hope nobody's going to tell that I was in the place I wasn't should have been. And I hope that no one fucking saw this fight and going to tell that I got to a fight out on town. And I was a really good boy for a couple of weeks. Street fight stories, right? So this fucking boy, this upload is taking a lot of left turns. But there you go. So oh yeah, don't take fighting advice from Jason Blaha. All right, he probably knows something about ammo or guns or whatever. Yeah, maybe whatever. But fitness, like, I would go to someone who didn't lie about being a motherfucking, like, what did he say he was? Operator, some sort of, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.